As an artist, what I took from the experience after the Apollo show was that the bar was raised and I was able to meet that bar. Like now it's time for me to go to the next level and do bigger venues and now I feel like I made it.
I'm Rakim, and this is 20 years later, Do or Die. Underrated, something of importance and value that has been underappreciated, undervalued, or minimized. At that time, technology demanded a change in the music industry that labels couldn't support. While his labels folded, AZ didn't. He rerouted himself to independence and stood squarely in his purpose. And although being underrated was a perception, prosperity and respect was his reality.
The reason why A's probably underrated is because, especially back then, a lot of artists had a big machine behind them to get them out there and get them out there the right way. The way they pushed them on the single on the Sugar Hill, and so they only really pushed what they wanted A to do and what A needed to do to sell records. Those street records that we all love, because those are the records that we cling to, those are the B-side records, those are the records that's not singles that y'all don't hear. Those B-side records that A had was crazy.
The rap game has high expectations from all of us, and they want to see us do, phenomenal things that just impossible things. It's never enough. They want to see him just go and do things that, he might feel like he's already good. I just feel like he created a lane for himself.
The reason why Do or Die is still relevant today, 20 years later, because the revolution will not be televised. So I don't care how much internet you have. When you have real, true substance, it's the actual content that pierces you.
I think, looking at all these years, I would say his life, it still is exemplifies someone who's been successful, someone who's just left a legacy. What you leave is what people will appreciate. And 20 years down the line, for people to appreciate Do or Die, that's a milestone. It's like, you might not say Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, and it's like you left AZ off of that Mount Rushmore. When you go back with the internet and it's like you start listening to AZ, you be like, yo, this kid is nice. Like, why isn't he on the Mount Rushmore?
20 years later, the heartbeat of a classic man continues. His inspiration doesn't waver, whether he's performing at a sold-out show or he's at home being a son, father, and friend.
There's just been plenty of times where I would call him and just say, I can't do this anymore. And he'd be like, ain't where you at, I'm on my way.
He has taught me, if it's something you want, if it's something you after, just go for it, because he's still going and he's still doing it. What he's speaking is the truth. What he's saying is knowledge, and it's what we went through, and it could relate because it's probably what thousands of people went through, and it's probably what people are still going through today.
My hopes for him going forward is that he reaches whatever plateau he has in his heart to reach. I want him to reach the goal that he set for himself. I just want him to be happy.
When I think of the evolution of AZ from 1993, 1994, the era of Brooklyn and New York, and I think of now, I'm almost envious and jealous that he's that real, that his integrity is so intact. He's his own man. It's wine. When you drink a great wine, you're drinking it through the soil. You taste the cork, you taste the spice, you taste things through the soil. And the best wine is an amalgamation of all that. So today's big records that you're hearing, whatever it is, Kendrick Lamar, there might be something from his parents in there who gave him and played subconsciously a little bit of AZ.
Talking about his evolution as a man and as an artist, I would say that he was destined to do that. It's very difficult for me to see him any other way. He was bred to be a king.
AZ's life has always been a delicate dichotomy. He was called man when he was merely a kid. He had a major label deal, but chose independence. He's one of the greatest MCs in the game, but still underrated. But this tender balance never kept him from creating timeless classics that set and raised the standards for hip-hop. Today, AZ is experiencing a new golden era in the studio, recording the long-awaited Do or Die 2.
Dubbing the Do or Die right now, the sequel, I feel no pressure. I just feel good to get through it. Like 20 years later, I'm kind of excited, honestly. For this Do or Die 2, I think those that contribute as far as producers, they understood AZ. So they're bringing the right music to the table, and it's enabling me to put the flow that's missing in the game. What made me reflect, you know, from this whole journey is that I'm still on a journey. You know, it's not the ending. It's really like a whole brand new beginning. My mind has opened up more from learning the business, knowing that I perfected my craft, and I'm looking forward to it.
Want to binge watch? We got you. Watch the full documentary tomorrow on BET.com and in the BET Now app.